Keni Dukkati. I'm from Fiji.
All right, and how did you find out about DC law offices?
I was I received a letter over the mail on receiving our instructions from the immigration officers.
I see. So that was through USAFIS then?
Yes, that's exactly right.
When you got that guide about DC law offices, did you read it, or did you find the guide self-explanatory?
I read through it, and I was very impressed with what I read, and led me to my contact with yourselves, with the law firm.
Wonderful. And could you tell us about your thoughts and feelings you had when you first found out that you were a green card lottery winner?
Oh, it was a moment of joy for us all. It was a big decision to make. Uprooting one's family to move. It's not a easy decision to make. Nevertheless, it was something that we were looking forward to, and we were quite overly excited about it.
Wow, that's great. Did you know about the application procedures?
Not to the extent that I got to know it later. I read a little bit about it, and I wasn't fully conversant with the details of it until I started getting advices from the law firm.
Was there anything that you found out while working through DC law offices that you thought was correct about the application process from the beginning, and then found out to be incorrect?
I can't think of the specifics, but certainly issues like getting police clearances, details of educational background. Those are very important details that we need to get the specifics right. So we went to great length to making sure that those were correct. Yep.
I was going to ask, what was your impression with the client care coordinator who contacted you first?
He was very polite, was very thorough in explaining the services, and we found him very easy to deal with, and he was sort of very welcoming. He wasn't pushy, but he was very professional about it.
Right. What was the most significant reason that helped you make your decision to go through with the green card process, and then to also to hire our attorney's office?
I think after discussions with you guys and the success rate you've had, and after a series of rounds of talks, I was confident that getting the services of the law office would be very beneficial in going through the process. I wasn't fully appreciative of how complicated it can be in terms of the details required. But after those discussions with the lawyers from DC law offices, I knew that I would not be able to do it on my own. I needed some help, and certainly they were great help.
Wow. Could you tell us a little bit about the process that you went through? Anything that sort of like stuck out in your mind that was difficult or easy for you?
My situation was a bit difficult because I had some issues, some personal issues that I need to deal with, and that was certainly something that I got a lot of advice on, and my wife and I had lived elsewhere previously, trying to collect police certificates from those remote countries was a bit of a task. But yeah, we knew exactly what was wanted, so it was painstaking, but something that needed to be done, and we got over the line on those ones.
Wonderful. Now, I know that through your case history, without actually getting into the specifics, that there were some issues that had come out. Did you find that the attorney that you were working with helped you throughout these difficulties that you faced?
Yes, certainly he was very helpful indeed. He went through the process with me, advised me on matters of law, advised me on matters that are issues that I need to be aware of, should I be asked questions in that regard. And there were a couple of issues. The other issue was that one of our daughter had just turned 21, but he just fell after we got the acceptance of the green card lottery. And I got all the explanations and the law relating to that, and made it very clear to us. Even though he says that you have to be under 21. We went through all that process with them, and they went to great lengths to give us the details of the legislation that covered that. So that was another very helpful situation. We were very comfortable with, and in the end, as they gave us the details of what we need to know.
Great. Was there a challenge, or what was the challenge even, for filling out the documents and the submittal to the KCC at the beginning for your application?
The challenge was just making sure that everything was accurate, and that was one area that really I was impressed with, it how detailed that the law office went through the documents. There were no inconsistencies in dates, the names. Various people have various names, and a married name and a middle name and a family name. So we made sure that those were all correct, and education records. There was, I was gobsmacked with how they went through the details and highlighting us of some inconsistencies in number of months where you were supposed to be here and you're there as well, kind of thing.
How long did you wait for your interview date?
The interview?
Yes, how long did you wait from the submittal of the application until when you actually got your interview date? Do you remember how long that was?
It wasn't overly long. I think we submitted, we waited about 3 months at the most.
Okay. And what was the challenging part of getting ready for that interview?
The most challenging part was just making sure that we have all the documents in place and in the order that they're wanted. Over the years, you lose academic transcripts, and we had to go through a lot of preparation, just making sure that that whatever was needed is available. We were couched all the way. We were sort of they held our hands all the way in making sure that we had what we needed for the interview.
Could you tell us about your feelings before you entered your interview? Did you feel like you were fully prepared?
Yes, at the day before, we had another, or 2 days prior, we had another an hour and a half over the phone with the lawyers, where we went through the whole process again, so a checklist from A to Z kind of thing. And at the end of all that, we were sufficiently comforted that we had everything. The only thing that's unknown at that stage was what kind of curler questions we will receive at the interview, but as it turned out, it's very pleasant.
Great. And could you just tell us about your thoughts and feelings once you learned you received the green card?
Oh, we were overjoyed. My children, one of them is already studying in Texas, and it meant a lot to him. My daughter, just a huge relief actually, and it's going to chart a different course in our lives, and we're overly excited about it. We are just so thankful that it's finally coming through.